I feel like it's easy to kind of look at the negative, but sometimes it's a little harder to see like really how far you've come and appreciate that, how much you've progressed and expanded, how much have you bloomed, how much have you blossomed, how much have you changed and healed and are just different now. And I want to tell you about that. We're going to channel spirit and tell you how you've grown, okay? So I'm going to show you the cards. There's 3 different piles, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. Choose your pile. And how you choose your pile, if you get stuck, is just kind of go to the one you're drawn to. Go to the one that makes you feel at peace, that you, that makes you feel good, that you want to click, or where you feel pulled to the most, okay? Okay, if you chose pile number 1, this is your reading. The ecstasy pile. And I didn't want to tell the other groups because I didn't want to make them feel jealous, but there was a second card that came out under ecstasy, which is resolution, which I think is just so interesting because that's how it goes, right? We have to resolve things before we get our peace. You can't get to ecstasy while you're living in systems that hurt you. And, I think about like boundaries and how it's really tough to put boundaries. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable and awkward and painful, and it can cause drama or different things. But once you put that boundary, you're protected and you can get, more peace and happiness. And that's the feeling I get, is that you've gone through the part of feeling your emotions and getting in touch with yourself, being self-aware, and dealing with the drama or the challenges or the pain. And now you know how to put boundaries. Now you know how to talk about how you feel. Now you know how to protect yourself and how to process. And through that, you've gotten this like internal soul ecstasy that you can tap into of being more at peace. And you've freed yourself. And it's not because there's like no bad in your life or anything like that. I mean, we still live in a society that, but it's about like you knowing how to handle things now, and you knowing how to feel through, and you like accepting yourself. And there's this freedom in that, in your acceptance and in your ability to speak up for yourself or just feel through things, ask for time off, or just telling, like maybe it's just you knowing when to tell people that you need to be isolated. And in that, you get this power, you get this freedom, you get this happiness because, you might have let people down. Maybe you cancel plans or whatever. And that's always that like scary, hard part of communication or boundaries or whatever. But on the other side, you get to do what you want, and you get to have peace, and you get to process or heal or rest or do whatever you need to because you've done the hard communication. You've felt the hard feelings. You've gone through the challenges, or you've released the drama or the people or the places or jobs that were causing you pain and limiting your ability to be free. Okay, so that's just starting off. What I'm getting, how you've grown, is you felt the things, you've said the hard things, you've let go and released the people. It's like the people that have been causing you drama or stress, you've released them so they don't have power over you anymore. And you're getting more in touch with your power. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to get into the tarot. How has this ecstasy pile grown? How has this ecstasy group grown? And I just want to take a deep breath. So maybe you've grown because you're learning how to slow down, learning how to breathe more. This is part of this, learning how to feel more. being more honest with yourself. Maybe you're unmasking. And so that's a lot of your ecstasy that you're feeling. Or I mean, like the happiness that your soul is feeling, because you're learning how to unmask, be more authentic. And then we have the Fool card at the bottom of the pile, which I feel like is so just that. Like, you have more faith in yourself. You have more freedom. Yeah. You're freeing yourself, or you have freed yourself. That's how you've grown. You freed yourself, and now you can take more risks. You have more freedom. You have more possibilities. This is the Well. Yeah. You're being more honest. You're being more clear with yourself and others. You know yourself more, so you can speak up for yourself. You can say the truth. Queen of Swords. And maybe also, because we have the Queen of, I'm just like pulling out of the bottom, the Queen of Wands, maybe you're also like expressing yourself more. And, you know, this isn't the ecstasy card, so it can deal with like passion and pleasure. And maybe you're tapping back into that, or seeing the possibilities for that. Just as you freed yourself, doors are opening more for you. Okay, let's see. How has this pile grown? How has this pile grown? How has this pile grown? Okay, I just see you working hard, okay? You have worked harder on yourself, and you have, you've put in the work. And I will say, like, your capacity, your focus, your priorities, you've changed, you've matured, you've grown, you've expanded, you've the word that comes to mind is distilled. You've distilled the gunk out of your life. So now you can focus on what you really need to build or work on. Now you've distilled out the people and the places and the jobs and dynamics that kept you from working on what you need to work on for yourself, for your business, for your relationships. It's like now you can focus more on you. Now you can focus more on what you really want to make, what you really want to build, what you want to create. I think that you've grown because, again, you've been working hard and putting like pen to paper. You've been doing the tactile thing that you need to do. And it's not just like something in your head. You're not just like looking and being like, oh, I could do this and I could do that. And kind of that confusion, or having like a lot of possibilities, and just seeing, maybe you were kind of like in a purgatory or stagnation, or just kind of paralyzed from as many having options. Or maybe you just didn't have priorities right, or was just kind of looking out and not knowing where to put your work, where to put your focus. And you've grown because now you know where to put your focus, you know what to do, you know the craft that you need to work on, or whether it's you writing a book, or your job, or your relationships, like you know the thing to work on now, and now you can just work on that. And there's this freedom from all the other choices. Like now you have your set. Because if you have too many choices, it can be overwhelming. And then sometimes we don't choose anything. And I see that kind of happening. Or maybe you were in survival mode, so you didn't know what to pick. Because you're, putting pressure on yourself. But now it's like you're working on things that are more natural to you and more sustainable. And you're seeing how you can make money, and how you are a lot more stable than you thought. And maybe you just thought that you were this kind of confusion, but you're not. You're the hard work and the focus and the expression and the passion and opportunities that comes after you choose. Or you are bigger than that confusion. And you're really trusting like more of your instincts and your intuition, your natural abilities. What else? How have you grown? How's this pile grown? Okay, High Priestess and Emperor. Wow. So you're just self-authority. Maybe you really have been spending a lot of time alone, just working on yourself, working on your projects, working on business, standing on business. And you just stand on your truth. You speak your truth. You express yourself. maybe you're just more positive. Maybe you've just grown because you've really gotten a lot more optimism, or instead of like looking out and your future, not knowing where to go and feeling kind of pessimistic and survival-y, maybe now you're looking at your future and it's like you see a stream, you see a path, or you see how the thing you're working on is creating a real future for yourself. But there's this authority that I really just don't think you see in yourself. Your intuition, your self-efficacy, your self-belief, what you believe that you can do has grown. And also you've shed the pressure of having to, or you've shed pressure of like potential weighing on you. Because it's like, if we think, what am I trying to say? If we're confused about what we do and we don't know, and we're in survival mode and we're trying to think, like if we're looking at jobs, we're like, oh, I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this. The way you're looking at your potential is, very survival-y. And maybe it just felt like, you could do all these paths, but now you're not choosing out of just anything or survival. You're choosing out of what respects you, what values you. What have you been working on? What is actually natural to you? What is actually sustainable? And you're seeing how what you're doing, your craft, and the things that you're really putting that tactile work into is opening doors. And so now the potential you see, or the opportunities, it comes just from a really more grounded place, a path that's real, a path that has energy flowing back to you. Yeah. You're receiving more. And yeah, you just have this authority. You're in charge of your life. You've grown. And maybe you haven't totally seen how you've gotten this authority of your life, how you're more of a boss than you think you are. But Spirit is really proud of you, and you've got your shit taken care of and handled more than you think you do. And that's why I think Spirit wants you to tap into this piece that you've created for yourself, because maybe your mind thinks you just need to work, work, work. But there's also this like part of your soul that is just really proud of you, that wants you to kind of relax and play and have fun and feel that new ecstasy and pleasure and peace that you've created for yourself. Okay, let's see. What else? Oh, wow. I opened up my deck and it's to growth. Okay. All right. Yeah, you've expanded your communication. You've expanded your mind. You've alchemized. You've expanded your space, maybe your work space, studio space, or just what you've realized you've needed for yourself. Like you've literally expanded. Your energy has expanded. You've just grown, literally, like energetically, you're taking up more space now. And that's why, Spirit's proud that you have these more risks or leap of faith that you can take, because there's new levels and places for you to go now and explore, and that are more aligned with you. And that you've worked hard and you've grown. So it's like, you're stronger to take those leaps of faith and that risk. Okay. How have you grown? How else have you grown? Wisdom and passion and logic. Wow. Okay. Yes. And the passion card, it's a little water messed up, but I feel like it's the same kind of colors, right? This sacral energy, this, it's passion, it's fire, it's fuel. You've gotten this, you have more of that. You have more inspiration. And you've also become more logical, more practical, maybe like shedding out the people, the jobs, the other things that were not sustainable. That takes this like maturity, that takes this like practicality that you've learned. And things are opening up to you because that's how you get more aligned with yourself. You realize, you know, where's my passion and what are the things that I can sustainably do? And how do I work on and just go towards that? It's like, that's the perfect combination. And that's what you're working on. That's what you're doing. And that's why you've gotten this wisdom, this intuition, especially if you're a woman, you have really taken that leap of faith to trust yourself more and to really work the way that you need to work, not the way society has put on you. I mean, no matter what gender, but you're working how you need to work, not the pressure, not the capitalistic, not the hustle thing that we put on ourselves and comparing yourselves to that so much. You've really shifted to what fuels you and sustains you. Slow. You've grown because you've grown, okay? Yeah, you've released a lot of baggage. You've released a lot of like bad people that were like people that were bad for you. And yeah, I just really want you to know how much of a boss you are, how much you've leveled up. Okay, last few cards. How have you grown? How have you grown? How has this pile grown? Inspiration. Yes, you have new inspiration. It says go outside and journey. So maybe you've been spending a lot more time outside, or maybe you've grown because you just like realize how much outside really helps and heals you. But I'm just going to say that you're learning the importance of being outdoors and being in nature and doing that more, being out there more, connecting. And then journey. You are realizing the journey. You're not rushing. You're not panicking and making decisions. You're not hiding yourself or people pleasing. You're not rushing, yourself and putting this pressure of what you should have been or where you should be at this time, or just anything with like timing or that productivity thing. You're releasing that and you're realizing your journey, your timing, your joy, your peace, your pleasure, and you're not comparing. You're not worried about what other people are expectations. And you are trusting the universe. You know that it doesn't matter if things are spontaneous or if you plan it out. Like, you're releasing anxiety about your next steps. You're down for the journey. You trust, you have faith. You're open to things changing and doors and whatever. Like, you're opening to new possibilities, and you're trusting the journey. You're more inspired by yourself, by your own frequency and expression. Okay? We'll do one more card. How's this pile grown? How has this collective grown? How has this collective grown? How has this collective grown? The Rose Phoenix. Wow. I love this card because so much of transformation is like deep fire, ashes. Like, that's a normal Phoenix, right? Burning to a crisp and ashes and coming back to life. But the Rose Phoenix, to me, is more like a rose, where I feel like it's more cyclical, where it's more like it blooms and then it dies and it blooms and it dies. And it's a little bit of a softer, gentler shedding. And I think that's how it is for you. You've grown because you know you don't have to burn everything to the ground. You can release things with love. You can speak on your boundaries with love. You can look at your future with more love. You can express yourself more gently. You're just being more gentle with your timing, with your path, with your craft, with your work, with your results. Like, you're just being more gentle, and you know that you're transforming, but you're I've got this metaphor in other readings, but it's like you're moving like a cruise ship. You're steering gently. You can't just whip around a cruise ship. And that's not the point. You've been on this journey, your things add up, but you've been distilling, you've been refining, you've been growing, and you're keeping going. And you're doing that more gentle, but with truth and hard work and expression and play and, taking some risks and having faith, trusting the universe, trusting your intuition, your wisdom. Just trust your authority a little bit more, because you got this. You're a boss, you're in charge, you have the passion, you have the logic, you have your path. So play with that, play with your peace, don't work so hard that you don't realize the peace that you've collected and have grown into, okay? I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, tell me how it resonated in the comments. I would love your interaction. I'm giving my heart and soul, so just a little bit of interaction back is very confirming for me and helps me keep going. But yeah, I love you. Put your notification bell on if you would like, to be updated when I post. And I'll see you on the next one, okay? Mwah. Peace. Hello, my pile number 2. This is your reading. If you chose the 1 card. When I see this card, I think about providing for yourself. I think about duality and balancing out your different sides. I think about, helping hands. Also, there's some of like community kind of thing, but I really get like investing in yourself. Yeah. So you've grown by how you've invested in yourself, how you've helped yourself out. But I also get this thing of like you learning when to ask for help as well. There's something about you knowing that you deserve help and are receiving more. And maybe that's been really difficult for you in the past to ask for help or to know how much you receive. Like maybe if you had a business, you kind of undersold yourself, or you felt like guilty taking people's money or charging what you want to charge. But there is this like, this lessons that you've learned and of how to receive more. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we get. How has this pile, this collective, how has this pile grown? How has this pile grown? How has this pile grown? Definitely like feeling yourself and your emotions. And you've created a lot more art. Okay, hold on. I want to sit with this because there's something kind of like sad. It could really just be like you've learned how to feel yourself. Maybe you've kind of disassociated or skipped past things. Maybe there's this kind of like masculine energy, not that it doesn't matter gender, it's just this energy of kind of doing things to get by and to get through. But it maybe just is just like life and survival just had it where it's like you couldn't feel through things. And there's this like numbness, this coldness, this disassociation, a little delusion, whatever, that you've gotten past. But in that, it's like you're kind of melting, and when the glaciers melt and then they get like worried that there's going to be like a virus from the past that comes out and gets released or whatever. It's kind of like that. Like I feel like you're in that kind of process of like you're de-thawing, but you're worried about like what's going to come to the surface, because now that you're feeling things, it's like the floodgates are open. But what I love is that you are feeling this emotion now, which is a huge transformation, is a huge growth. To go from being numb and having that kind of masculine, tough energy that kind of makes things frozen or numb or disassociated, to feeling and to healing and to processing. I mean, that's huge. That's how we heal the planet, is by doing that kind of internal work. But you're not just feeling it and doing nothing with it. You're transforming it into art, into perspective, into your future. And I think you're really processing in like a productive way, or you're really processing in a way that is giving to yourself. Like it's like a self-investment. And when you go from somebody that thinks that feeling feelings is useless or a waste of time, or you just don't have that kind of privilege to be able to feel your feelings, and then you go into feeling them, a lot of people can kind of demonize them or just hate them and stuff. But I feel like you're being gentle with yourself. You're understanding that you have to feel and cry and sit with it, but also you got to do something with it. And yeah, you're putting it into some sort of creation, some sort of art, some sort of work, and you're being gentle with yourself. And I'm just really proud of you, because especially if that was that kind of masculine energy doing that, that is what the masculine needs right now, is to de-thaw and feel and alchemize it into, art, creation, something good, Let's ask a little bit more. Actually, I want to shuffle one more time. There is definitely this independence, that's how you've grown. You've grown in independence. And in that feeling, you're going to learn how to be more compassionate, empathetic with people, and really feel people out. So it's like you're getting in touch with your humanity and getting more independent, but also like that's going to help you connect with others and community even more too. Okay, let's see. How has this pile grown? Yeah, you're creating more stability for yourself. There is this clarity of you knowing how to invest your energy better. And it doesn't matter if it's even sad energy, if it's pain, if it's anger, whatever, you know how to invest it into yourself better. I think that there's still this like realization process that you're happening of like how much you can actually create and how much like power you actually have, that you're still discovering, you're still learning, that you're still in the process of growing into your power and understanding how much creativity, passion, life force, whatever. I think that there's this power that you're still learning, that you're in the process of. But you've gotten so much more stable. You've grown in being more fortified in yourself. But it's like, it comes not from having like an armor. You tapping into your emotions is going to have you understanding your power more. Because if you don't tap into emotions, that's because you think that they have more power over you than you have over them. And so there's this thing of like letting the floodgates open and realizing like you can take that, you can handle that, you can alchemize that. And that's what it is. It's emotional stability. You have so much more emotional stability, and I think you're just able to process things a lot more than you thought you were. And you have a lot more passion and creativity and power than you think you do too, but you're learning and you're growing and you're in that process. Okay, let's see. It could be that you're afraid, you were just afraid in the past to tap into your emotions, that sadness, and it kind of was just turning into anger. Or maybe you were afraid of your anger and not letting yourself be angry, not letting yourself get mad. And in that, it's like you're telling yourself that you don't respect your power, or you think that if you get mad you're just going to like lose your top and lose everything and like blow everything up. And if that's the way you think too, then you're giving your anger so much power, you know. It's going to make you feel weak. And I think that's the paradox of that kind of like masculine thinking, is that it's so fragile. It's like if you have to be so tough and you can't tap into an emotion because you think it's gonna mess up your whole life or bring you into the darkness, or you're just gonna be depressed forever, and it's like, well, dang, like you got a lot to process then. Like, and you're giving so much of your power away by thinking that. But if you know that you can handle anything and you can feel through anything, and you can process and you can alchemize and you can build and grow and create art with those energies, then you're going to feel, you know, powerful and fueled, and you're going to be like, oh, I can take on the world, because you know how to do that. So I do think that there's this like fear that you've released about your emotions, and now you feel like, you know, maybe it's hard, but I can do it. I love that. Wow. This is real. This is the real healing right here. Okay. Okay. How has this pile grown? 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 Yeah, look, the depth card. Going into your depths. Now you're not afraid to go into your depths. You're not afraid to go dark. You're not afraid to go in it, feel it, because you know you can release it. And you have a new perspective on the way you act and the power you have over your action. Maybe before you felt like a little bit like a victim to the world's circumstances, or to your life's circumstances, where you felt like, oh, I can't do this because that and that, or I can't do this because so and so, or this job would let me do this. Like, you were giving too much of your power away to circumstances, to people, to jobs, to limiting things around you. But now it's like you're taking back charge, and it's like, okay, well, maybe this doesn't let me do that, but you know, I can do it in a different way. Or I don't know, or maybe you're just going to where, like, now that you notice that, you're not just staying in that victimness, you're going to where you feel more powerful. You're going to where you feel, you know, just on a practical level, you're going to where you can create more, or maybe like where you feel safer. Or there's this kind of like survival thing too, of like maybe you weren't doing certain actions because you felt like you didn't have the privilege to, like you didn't have the time to do it, or you didn't, like it would take too much work, and it's like you need money now so you can't do that, or like you couldn't invest in things because you had to be getting just was in front of you. But now you're realizing the investment. It's like, you know, if you buy something cheap, you buy it twice. And it's like, maybe before you were just like, oh, I can't buy the expensive thing. I can't buy the expensive shoes because that's way too out of my budget and that's going to mess me up and blah, blah, blah. And it's like all this pain or all this stress. But now you're realizing like, oh no, actually, if I invest in myself, and maybe it's a little painful at first, but if I really invest in myself and buy these nice pairs of shoes that last me for 10 years, instead of having to buy new shoes twice a year or something that are cheap, it's like you are understanding, you have a new perspective on thinking about the future, investing in yourself, and you're not just going to those shallow places because you're in survival mode. You're going to those depths because you know you can handle more. Yeah. And until you see your feelings and think about these things, about your future and how you truly feel and what you practically can do in life, and, then you can actually get more organized because you know what's there. There's not a lot in the dark. So it's definitely a big part of this is like shadow work and just getting what was in the dark into the light, feeling your feelings, creating, knowing that you can do more. You have more power than you believe, that you thought before. You're changing your self-confidence, your self-belief of what you think you're capable of. And you're growing those capabilities. Okay. All right. So let's see. What other cards? Just a few more. How has this pile grown? How have you grown? How have you grown? How have you grown? You have more compassion for yourself. Wow. Wow. Emotions and transcendence. Wow. And then, yeah, compassion was at the bottom. And liberation, like you're freeing yourself by feeling yourself, okay? But emotions, wow, yes, here we go. The depth, the Queen of Cups, the feelings. You're feeling your emotions. You're letting it flow through you, past you, in you. You're in it. And you know that it's not a forever thing. You know you're not putting this weight of it being like, oh, I'm just a failure or whatever. Like you're knowing that this is something you need to go through. And it's not this destination. It's not a failure. And you're loving and feeling yourself through that. I love that. And then you have the transcendence card, which I feel like is that. You're transcending your numbness, you're transcending your blocks, your limiting beliefs. You're transcending this idea that if you go into the dark, that you're just going to get stuck there forever. But that's not how shadow work works. So you can get sucked in and live there, but you know that's not you. You trust yourself. You know you can get through. And you know it's hard, but you know you can do it. You can transcend and grow past it, feel it, go through it, and then get this bigger expansion and perspective. And continue. You're continuing to push through. You're continuing to go to that next step of your healing and your internal work. Wow. Going to the depths. I'm just like, yes, that is the vibe. Okay, last cards. How is this group growing? Because you are the one to save yourself, to rescue yourself. You're the one holding your own hand through the darkness, through the depths. Knowing that you can fuel yourself, knowing that you're going to give yourself that air, knowing that you have the power and the action to get through. That's how you've grown. Okay? I love it. How has this pile grown? Final cards. How has this pile grown? Anything else, Spirit? How has this pile grown? Anything else, Spirit? How has this pile grown? They're like, no, I think that's good. Says, protect your dreams. I think that there's this sensitivity. It's like, you can dream more once you know that you can get there, and it's not just some fever escape dream. It's not just this like fantasy escape. It's like, no, you're feeling all the feelings, which means you can feel your desires more and your dreams more too, which makes that more real. You're more inspired. You're believing in magic more. And that's what happens when you de-thaw and you feel things, right? You're believing in magic. You're believing in your own art and creation and action. You are getting more in touch with your true nature, your true feelings. And you're inspiring yourself more because you're seeing what more you can do. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. especially for this just like emotional, whew, I know it could be some dark night of the soul shit. That could be, you know, really dark things that you're going through. But you're doing it. You're doing it with love, and you know you're going to get through. And I love you, and I'm so proud, and I know you are too. Whew, I want to say like hallelujah. Good job. You're doing the hard, deep work, and Spirit loves you for that. I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful. And if there's any other messages I can give you, you know, hopefully you can watch another video. But, you know, you trust yourself, and you're going to feel yourself through. All right. I love you so much. Subscribe, like, put on the notification bell so that you can know when I post. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. And I hope to see you again. All right? I love you. Hello, pile 3. If you chose authentic expression, this is your reading. Okay, so you've grown because you're expressing yourself authentically, okay? We are becoming our truest self. We are expressing with more confidence. We are maybe releasing like judgment, criticalness, this idea that you have to be perfect. You're just putting it out there, being more human, showing up how you need to show up. Maybe you've kind of popped this bubble of this like fantasy version of yourself that you thought you wanted to be, or you were putting pressure on yourself to be. But now you're just accepting that who you are is who you are. And you're being kind of more logical, more at peace, more compassionate with just, this is me, okay? Maybe you're unmasking and being more weird, but I also get that you're putting out, you know, your voice, and you're speaking more, or you're showing up just more real. Okay? Let's get into it. Let's see. How is this pile 3? Authentic expression. How have they grown? How have they grown? How has this pile grown? Okay. Wow. Okay. So we have the sun. You're just becoming more positive. I think that there's this like self-forgiveness that I'm really feeling, this like self-compassion, forgiving yourself. It's like something kind of clicked for you where, I don't know if you do parts work or you've been like parenting yourself, like this gentle parenting yourself, or letting your inner child play more, but you're just letting more positivity in, more light, and that's allowing yourself, as you show up more authentically and you're allowing this positivity to come, you're just kind of like healing and growing in it. I'm seeing like a plant that there's certain parts of it that haven't gotten sun before, and you're finally letting the sun reach some of those dark places. Like, okay, like I've been very insecure about my teeth for a long time. I've gotten over it in the past few years, or several years, and that's why I post and be online, but still kind of gets to me or whatever. But I remember when I first started doing tarot, like that was my biggest like insecurity and things of why I didn't want to be on here, is because I was just like, are you kidding me? There's just going to be hours of my teeth on the internet. But now it's like, I don't even really think about it anymore, because I'm just like, whatever, you know, like I want to get my message out, and how am I supposed to go to the orthodontist and pay for that if I'm not working and putting myself in like, but it's that thing of like putting light on places that were insecurities before that you maybe thought like, I would never let people see that. I would never show people my anger or irritation, or, you know, maybe you just like posted a certain way or whatever it is, where you're finally letting the sun, the light, the exposure get to these places. And now it's like oh, it's fine. Oh, whatever. Like, what was I thinking? Or like I was being so silly. Or maybe it's still a little bit tough. Like maybe, I mean, I still get a little bit insecure and stuff, but it's like you see the bigger picture and you're letting those things go. So love that. Love that you're just bringing more light and warmth into yourself and becoming more natural and just like your natural beauty, your natural expression. It's coming out and you're blooming and growing. It's just this warmth. Like I really just feel like you're kind of like naked in the sun, where you're like getting sun on different parts of your body that have never seen the sunlight. But those cells are like waking up. Your body is getting more energy and you're becoming more whole and more at home in yourself. Also, I think that you're getting more friends because of it, and you're getting more connected with people that are true to you, that really understand you, that are your kind of combination of things, or have your values in mind because you're letting your values be seen, or just really just accept who you are and accept those parts of yourself without any question. Like maybe they don't even know the old version of yourself that didn't allow that, because they just know the version you are now and they love that. I don't know. But you're celebrating yourself more. You're surrounding yourself with people that are more aligned with you and that they are also more authentic. And because of that, like you're meeting people that are really more on your vibe, whether it's your soul tribe or just community, whatever, a job that's better. But I really feel like you're surrounding yourself with people that can celebrate you more because they really truly know yourself, or they know you more. And you're just allowing yourself to be celebrated more and be seen and be heard and be in a group, and just you're just kind of like, it is what it is, and these are my people, and it's just like acceptance. Yeah. And in that, we have the Lovers card. So first off, it always means to me that you're balancing your sides out, right? Your masculine and feminine side, you're allowing those to be more feminine, and you're allowing those to be authentic. And maybe there's like some sort of like queerness or androgyny or something that you're also kind of like tapping into, like your expression of who you're really attracted to, or who you actually want to be in a relationship with, or who actually makes you feel safe compared to maybe like who you thought you should date, or your type, or whatever, that maybe wasn't making you feel safe and authentic and natural. But now you are. So there's first that of just like you being more whole within yourself and being able to receive love more authentically and more naturally, and with people that recognize who you are more and they're more authentic. So it's more clear. It's more, could be more mature, but it's also kind of just like more innocent. But I am getting that like you've grown in love, and you've grown, a lot in just how you receive, and you've grown in like your taste of partners and who you let in. And you've grown on letting them see, like people that love you, letting them see who you really are. And maybe you're also kind of asking, like you've grown because you're able to express yourself more authentically, and that could be in the bedroom, and that could be in how you play and pleasure, and maybe you're able to like ask for what you really want now, or get your voice in your bedroom, or maybe it's like dynamics are shifting and the power dynamic is shifting, and you're like being honest about what kind of power dynamic you want, or what kind of environment or setup you want. Maybe you want more power and you want to be a dom or something, or maybe you want more gentle and you want things to be more soft and you want more like massages, but you've been afraid to ask, or you want more time, you want things slower. It's just whatever it is, you're becoming more authentic and becoming more true to yourself, especially when it comes to your pleasure, your love, your friends. And yeah, you're healing, and I'm definitely getting an unmasking part of this, and that you're being honest about your injuries and what your body can do, what your mind can do, or how you're healing, or like how, like if you have a trigger or you have something that you're really sensitive by, or you're just like whether you're on the spectrum or not, I feel like there's things that we can all learn from people on the spectrum. And like in that of, you know, there's compassion that we can have on ourselves and growth and transformation, but there might be some things that you just are kind of rigid on, or that really don't work for you, or you really just get really irritated or overstimulated by, that you want it to work out, but that's not true to you, and that doesn't make you feel good. And maybe in your mind there's been like a fantasy or an industry or a goal or dream for yourself that you had, but whenever it's like you actually did it, it didn't feel like how you thought it was, or it's not sustainable, or it's just like not a safe place for you to be. But in that acceptance, it might be a little bit sad. It might be like, man, I have to accept this injury. Like, I don't want to accept that or whatever. But in that, you're going to learn how to heal that more. And also just like being honest with your, kind of just like being honest with your limits. And that's why I think it kind of goes into pleasure and stuff too. But especially pleasure, work, relationships. There might be things where like we can always grow and expand, and you know, anything is possible, I believe. But also there's this practical human part of just like growing up and realizing like that there's things that you can do and you can't do, and just being honest with yourself. Because I think once we realize what we can do, what's natural, what feels good to us, who actually makes us feel safe and authentic and real, then it's like so many paths and opportunities can open up that actually are aligned with us. But if we are not honest with ourselves, like how much something is hurting us, how much it takes a toll on us, then we're going to just be like shredding ourselves down, and we're going to get burnt out, and we're going to collapse, and we're going to, you know, get sick, and we're going to get tired, and it's our body's going to tell us. And so I think that there's this thing of you listening to your body and realizing like what spaces, places, people actually make you feel safe and whole and healed, or more confident, you know, and positive, and what people and places don't. And you know, maybe there's a little bit of an ego hit there where you're like, man, I really wanted to be part of that crew or part of that group or job or whatever, because it gave you like a sense of identity or accomplishment or something. But I promise you, you doing what's natural, and I think you're learning this, that is how you've grown, is that doing what's natural to you is getting you that love and that healing and that joy, that positivity, the friendship, okay? And that this piece of relationships and friendship and positivity, it's just like, it's soul, it's happiness, it's true. It's like you're in the garden that you're supposed to be in. And as much as we would love to be in another garden, if that climate is not good for us, it's like, why keep trying to be the tropical flower if you're an herb or something? Like, and if you could just really dive into what it means to be your version of it, you will understand the benefits, and you won't be so jealous or hurt or whatever by what you're not able to do or who you're not able to be, because you understand how much love and peace you're getting from being authentic. And I think that you're getting this. I think that you're understanding, and that is the transformation that you're feeling of just, it's like wholesome energy, and kind of going against your ego when it wants to be like cool. And you've grown because you've just created this peace for yourself. You've dropped a lot of weight of things that were not a good fit for you. Okay. How else have you grown? Ooh. Okay, abundance. How else have you grown? And I really get that that's what it is. It's like you feel truly more abundant. With the people, with the love, with the positivity. It's like, this is real abundance. Having people that love you and celebrate you and this positivity that you feel, that's true abundance. But also, you are growing into more of your real financial abundance because you're doing what is natural. You're doing what is aligned. And wealth is coming in. You've grown into being more rich internally because you're going with your truth. You're going with your heart. You're going with what is aligned. Okay. And then this card is about like, so within, so without. So it's like, you're really matching that up. You are maturing. You're creating environments that are reflecting your internal and vice versa. You're not just feeling peace internally and then going with people that make you feel lonely or make you feel not great. You know, you're feeling good in the inside. And when you go hang out with people, you're also feeling good with them, and you can take that home. And it's just like, you're not having to do the masking. Yeah. You're changing, you're alchemizing what you've learned into something new, something modern, a new path. And I really get that you've turned your tears into rainbows, and now it's like you've gone through that pain already, or maybe you're still kind of feeling it, but you're seeing how much amazing beauty and abundance you get every time you release that pain. Excuse me. You're understanding that every bad relationship, every friend, every work opportunity thing that you're missing out on, or that you're leaving behind, that you're letting go of, that you're not able to do, whatever, everything that you're letting go of, you're seeing how instantly, like, as you grieve that, you get peace, you get love, you get positivity, you get new opportunities, new friends, the pressure's off, and now you can be more free. You can feel more, things are brighter and more positive and more love. Like, the world just seems better because you're not tied down and weighed and feeling like you're being a version of yourself that isn't sustainable. Yeah, you're understanding where you fit in. You've grown because you've learned your place more in this world and with your community, and how specifically you can shine your light and what makes you shine. Yeah. You could also really be getting more feminine, and you've just grown more into your femininity. I really think that. I really think that you've learned more about your feminine nature, and like going with feminine cycles and not going with cycles that don't fit you, that are running you into the ground, burning you out, all that. You're going into cycles that are loving and are more natural. Yeah, really embracing your femininity, more of your pleasure, more of actually what makes you feel good. And that's a hard lesson. Like, a lot of us, it's hard to speak up for what you want sometimes. It's hard to be really vulnerable and tell people, explain people, what you can actually not handle, or what you can, or just your sensitivities. It's like, a lot of times we want to be like low maintenance, or we want to be, chill or not difficult or whatever, but you're just learning, like, yeah, no, I'm complicated. I have sensitivities. I can do this. I can't do that. I want to do this. I don't want to do that. You're learning more of that voice and how to be loved for that. You're seeing that as you be more picky, or as you are showing more of your sensitivities, or being like showing more what you like that's weird or niche or whatever, it's like, it might be awkward at first as you say it, but then you realize that you find people that want to give you exactly that, or also love that niche, or totally respect and are thankful to know your boundaries. But yeah, and in that, that's where that abundance comes, is because you're able to kind of bloom and uncurl into who you truly are, softly and gently. And you can't rush a flower from blooming, and you're letting yourself bloom. You're letting yourself be seen. You're letting yourself be loved for your vulnerability and sensitivity. I love that. Okay, last cards. How have you grown? How has this pile grown? Spirit, how has this pile grown? Fairies. Oh, light and motivation, transformation. Okay. Moderation. Yeah. Moderation. Like you've become more sensitive. Maybe you're working on being healthier. Maybe you're not escaping and doing drugs and alcohol as much because you know how it truly affects you. Maybe you're being honest with yourself. Maybe before, you drank or something because it's like, oh, you thought it gave you power, and now you're realizing that that's not where your power comes from. Something where it's like you're making healthier choices and realizing like how it really does affect you. But also just like moderation in work, moderation with friends, moderation. It's like you're learning how to adapt now that you're honest with yourself about what moderation you need. And you're just becoming more healthy. You've grown because you're becoming healthier in all of your decisions, in all of your life, emotionally, financially, friends, lovers, everything, your body. Like you're learning how to be more healthy and truly like how things affect you. You're becoming more light. You're becoming more love. You're literally just brightening up, okay? You got the light card. Come on. You're brightening up. You're becoming more positive. You're becoming more true to yourself. You're becoming more hopeful, a little more optimistic, a little bit more encouraged. Then you have new motivation, new inspiration, because when you're not exhausting yourself with people and places that push your boundary, challenge you, push you, or not authentic, make you feel, or like when people don't understand us, when people don't see our values, that's so exhausting, because when you're around them, it's like even subconsciously, if you're not even doing it like in an actual argument, which can happen, but even subconsciously, it's like you're going to be trying to like prove yourself around them, or try to get that, like maybe be a little bit on defense, or try to get them to see. And when they don't, it hurts so bad, especially when it's people you love. And so there is this part of like, you having more energy because you're not having to do that. You're not having to prove yourself to people. You're not having to explain who you are. The people around you get it, or they've been cut out of your life, or whatever, or maybe you're just on your own, so you feel that freedom, but like you have more time and energy to be yourself, which is giving you more inspiration and motivation, to do what you really want to do, what's natural, it's just aligned motivation for you. And you've transformed. You have become literally a completely different mood, a completely different baseline. There's so many things that was like a mask that people might have just been seeing this like false you. You were seeing a false you. And yeah, now you're seeing your inner self. You're seeing your core. You are seeing who you truly are. You are being more gentle and sensitive with who you truly are. You are releasing the people, the places, things that weren't a fit, that were being too hard on you, too hard on your body, not working, not sustainable, making you burn out or whatever. You're leaving that. You're seeing where you shine. You're seeing who helps you and makes you shine, who you feel more comfortable on a soul level with. You're moderating, whether it's like drugs, alcohol, health, whatever, you're being more honest and growing, and really, just being more healthy and putting in making healthier decisions out of love and out of compassion, not because you need to change and be different, but because you want to, and you're understanding how things affect you and who you want to be and what love really feels like and what health really feels like. And you're feeling that warmth and peace. So you're just doing it like naturally. You're becoming more positive. You're becoming more optimistic. You've let go of the things that don't fit and have been kind of killing you. And so now you have more motivation, inspiration. You have more energy to do what you love. And yeah, you get to just show up more authentic, more sensitive, really telling people what you really need and want, whether it's for play, pleasure, business, relationships, whatever. You're being honest, you're being vulnerable, you're being sensitive and compassionate, you're healing. You are the new true, I want to say like the new version of yourself, but really it's your true. It's just that you've released the shell, you've released anything else that was inauthentic and that, you know, you were kind of playing the part, but it wasn't really who you are. So I'm so proud of you for unmasking, for making healthier decisions, for doing all of this with compassion and realizing every time you let go of something, it's going to bring you peace. It's going to bring you health. It's going to bring you love. Yeah. Really just becoming more healthy and positive and loving. Okay? So proud of you. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. If you can interact with this in any way, that shows me, gives me back the love that I have poured into this and keeps me going. And yeah, please subscribe, comment, notification bell if you like it and you would want to know when I post. And yeah, I hope to see you again in the next one, okay? I love you so much. Peace.